Symptoms of a destiny swap. Welcome back. I am Adeline Atlas, 11 times published author, and this is the Destiny Swapping series. Why recognizing symptoms matters. Destiny swaps rarely announce themselves. They do not arrive with loud warnings or obvious signs. They creep in slowly, concealed behind what looks like ordinary bad luck, exhaustion, or confusion. This is why so many people live under interference without ever realizing it. They believe they are failing, when in truth, something is feeding from their light. A destiny swap is not a single event. It is a pattern. And patterns reveal what single moments hide. One setback can be explained away. A few missed opportunities might be chalked up to timing. But when your energy begins collapsing in on itself, when your victories no longer feel like they belong to you, and when someone else seems to rise as you fall, that is when you are no longer dealing with chance. You are seeing the signature of spiritual tampering. Early recognition is everything. The longer a swap goes undetected, the more entangled it becomes. Think of it like a leak. A single drop may go unnoticed at first, but over time, it empties the entire vessel. The same is true of destiny interference. If you wait until the evidence is undeniable, you have already lost ground that must be reclaimed. This is why symptoms matter. They are not inconveniences, they are spiritual diagnostics. Fatigue is not just tiredness, it is an alarm bell. Repeating failures are not simply bad luck, they are signs of detainment. And the dreams you keep dismissing as random may be the clearest warnings you will ever receive. When you learn to see these signs for what they are, you remove the greatest advantage a destiny swapper has: your ignorance. Awareness closes doors, discernment seals them, and from that point on, no thief can operate undetected in your field. This video will break down each symptom in detail, not just what it looks like, but what it means. Because once you can name it, you can confront it. And when you confront it, you can stop the siphon before it drains what was written for you. Core symptom categories. Destiny swaps rarely announce themselves in obvious ways. Instead, they erode your energy from the inside out. The first signs almost always show up in your body, mind, and spirit. These are not just emotional states or physical exhaustion. They are indicators of interference at the level of your spiritual wiring. When your destiny is under attack, you begin to feel like someone has pulled the plug on your inner power source. The energy that once flowed naturally now feels siphoned, redirected, or muted. This is not random fatigue or burnout. This is targeted depletion. Sudden fatigue and brain fog. The most common and immediate symptom of a destiny swap is a noticeable drop in energy. You wake up tired even after sleeping. You struggle to focus, feeling as though your mind is wrapped in a heavy fog. This is not just stress or poor rest. It is the result of energy being drawn out of your field. When another person or force taps into your destiny, they do not merely copy you. They pull from the same spiritual current that fuels your purpose. That siphoning leaves you drained, distracted, and disconnected from your natural drive. Why it happens: energetic hooks. When a swapper forms a spiritual or emotional link, your energy begins leaking into their field. Frequency overlap. If someone is imitating or entangling with your identity, your unique frequency becomes split, making it harder for you to feel whole and grounded. Harvesting by proximity. Those closest to you, friends, partners, even family, can become conduits for this drain, whether knowingly or not. If you feel chronically tired while someone else around you suddenly thrives, it is not coincidence. It is a sign that your energy is being redirected. Loss of motivation or passion. Destiny theft does not always feel violent. Sometimes it is quiet. You stop wanting to do the very things that once lit you up. Your dreams feel far away. The excitement that used to propel you is replaced by apathy. This is how swaps work. They disconnect you from your spiritual engine. When your star, your energetic blueprint, is tapped into by another, you lose the fuel that once drove your vision forward. You may still have the skill or knowledge, but the fire is missing. Why it happens. Energetic cross-wiring. Your passion leaks into the life of the swapper. Their sudden ambition often mirrors the very thing you just lost interest in. Desynchronization. You are pulled off your timeline. You still sense what you are meant to do, but you cannot bring yourself to do it. Invisible agreements. Sometimes a swap happens because of a consent point, something you said, believed, or tolerated that allowed your energy to be redirected. When your passion dies for no clear reason, it's not laziness. It's a signal that something has interfered with your alignment. Spiritual dryness. Spiritual dryness is the quiet suffocation of your inner connection. You may still pray, meditate, or do the things you once did to feel aligned, but they feel flat. The clarity and guidance that once came easily now feel muted or absent. This is because swaps do more than steal energy. They tamper with access points. Your spiritual flow is tied to your identity. When that identity is hijacked, even partially, it creates static between you and divine guidance. Why it happens. Energetic overlays. A swapper's energy can overlap your own, muffling your intuitive signal. Fragmentation. Pieces of your spiritual vitality are tied up elsewhere, leaving you with a diminished sense of connection. Interference by design. Star hunters and destiny thieves thrive on disorientation. If you cannot hear or trust your inner compass, you are easier to misdirect. Spiritual dryness is not a permanent state. It is a warning. The moment you identify it for what it is, you can begin the process of clearing interference and restoring connection. Timeline disruptions. When a destiny swap occurs, it does not only drain your energy, it rewrites the flow of your life. Your path becomes riddled with interruptions, missed timing, and strange delays that feel engineered rather than random. What once moved smoothly now feels jammed. These disruptions are not accidents. They are indicators that your timeline, your sequence of breakthroughs, opportunities, and divine alignments, has been tampered with. Blocked opportunities. One of the clearest signs of a timeline disruption is when doors that should open suddenly slam shut. You prepare, you qualify, you act, but the outcome collapses without explanation. This is not just bad luck. It is the result of spiritual interference that reroutes favor. In many cases, the very blessing that was meant for you appears to fall into the hands of another, often someone connected to you or watching you. Why this happens? Spiritual access points left unguarded allow others to tap into your lane. Words of doubt or curses spoken over you weaken your claim to what is yours. Energy siphoning splits your frequency, making it harder to anchor the opportunities tied to your path. Blocked doors are not rejections. They are evidence of redirection. Something or someone has tampered with the natural flow of your favor. Repeating cycles of failure. If you feel trapped in a loop, where the same setback keeps repeating, it often means your timeline has been intercepted. Destiny thieves thrive on delay because every pause weakens momentum. This is why you may feel like you are circling the same mountain. You start projects but never see them through. Breakthroughs appear, then vanish at the last moment. The same type of obstacle keeps showing up in different forms. These loops are not random. They are engineered patterns created to hold you in place while your stolen energy is redirected to fuel another's progress. Glitches in favor. Perhaps the most unsettling sign of a swap is when blessings that look identical to yours show up, just not for you. Someone else steps into an opportunity that mirrors what you were working toward. Your language, your vision, even your timing shows up in their life, while you experience unexplained stagnation. Why this happens? Prolonged entanglement allows another person to mirror your path until they attract what was tied to your name. Star-level interference, covered or caged stars, prevents your favor from being fully visible to those who should recognize it. Swappers hijack your frequency, essentially broadcasting your signal as if it belongs to them. When you notice these glitches, it is not proof that you are losing. It is confirmation that a theft has taken place. Awareness is the first step in reversing it. Identity distortion. Destiny swapping does not only interfere with your external life, it attacks the very core of who you are. Your sense of self, your inner compass, and even your creativity can become distorted. This is because identity is tied to destiny. When your path is hijacked, the natural expression of your gifts becomes blocked or redirected. Loss of clarity and purpose. The first sign of identity distortion is the sudden loss of clarity. You may remember what once drove you, your passions, your goals, and the deep sense of direction that used to feel undeniable. But after a swap, it is as though someone has turned down the volume on your inner guidance. Why this happens? Energy siphoning drains the intuitive signal that keeps you aligned. Prolonged proximity to a swapper creates confusion by merging their projections with your energy. Spiritual interference creates fog, keeping you from recognizing what is yours. This is why many people in the early stages of a destiny swap feel stuck in constant second-guessing. They are not simply indecisive, they are under energetic distortion. Drastic shifts in personality. When someone is entangled with a destiny thief, subtle changes in personality often follow. You may lose confidence in areas where you were once naturally bold. Start speaking or acting in ways that feel off or uncharacteristic. Experience heightened self-doubt or emotional instability. This happens because identity is anchored in spiritual alignment. When that alignment is disrupted, your natural traits weaken, while traits tied to the entanglement begin to surface. In some cases, you may even adopt the fears or limitations of the person draining you. Creative paralysis. Creativity is one of the strongest indicators of alignment with destiny. When a swap occurs, inspiration dries up. The spark that once drove you to build, write, create, or innovate becomes harder to access. Why creativity is targeted. Your ability to create is tied to your spiritual light. If your light is siphoned, so is your creative flow. Swappers often mimic ideas but cannot originate them, so they weaken your inspiration to keep you from producing. Prolonged energetic entanglement reroutes the charge behind your visions, leaving you exhausted instead of motivated. This paralysis is not a lack of talent. It is a symptom of interference. Once the energy link is broken, the flow returns instantly because it was always yours. External confirmation. Destiny swapping does not remain hidden forever. Eventually, it reveals itself in the physical world through patterns that defy coincidence. These signs provide tangible evidence that what was once operating unseen has begun to manifest in visible, measurable ways. Someone else thriving in your lane. One of the most striking confirmations of a destiny swap is watching someone else succeed in an area that mirrors your original path. They may suddenly gain opportunities, visibility, or recognition that align with what you once carried. Why this happens? Energy theft redirects momentum. What was once flowing towards you gets siphoned. Swappers often imitate your voice, language, or creative concepts to step into your lane. Because destiny operates like a frequency, anyone who hijacks your energy field temporarily borrows the resonance that attracts what belongs to you. This does not mean your destiny is gone. It simply means it has been intercepted. Once the interference is broken, the path realigns. Unnatural coincidences. Destiny swaps often leave a trail of strange, repetitive patterns that cannot be explained by chance. Opportunities you were pursuing suddenly go to someone else without reason. Ideas you only spoke about privately begin surfacing in another person's work. Repeated blocks appear at the very last moment, as if something is intercepting your progress. These are not accidents. They are disruptions caused by interference in your timeline. Once you learn to spot them, they stop feeling random and begin to serve as red flags that point to the exact areas of sabotage. Persistent toxic attachments. Another undeniable marker of a destiny swap is the presence of individuals whose energy coincides with your decline. These are the people who consistently drain you after every interaction. Insert themselves into your plans, ideas, or successes. Seem to thrive as you weaken. In many cases, these toxic attachments act as the conduit for the swap itself. Their proximity is the link that keeps the interference active. When you separate from them, you will often notice an immediate shift in clarity, energy, and opportunity, as if the spell has been broken. Hi, I'm Adeline Atlas, 11 times published author, and what you just watched is part of my signature program, the Chosen One series inside School of Soul. This series is not just a course, it's a blueprint for those who know they were different from the start: the black sheep, the scapegoat, the truth teller, the cycle breaker. Inside, you'll discover the family roles playbook, the golden child, the scapegoat, the enabler, the lost child, and how to finally step out of the part you were cast in without consent. How the black sheep becomes the goat, turning rejection into radical transformation and leadership. How to break generational curses and rewrite ancestral contracts so the pain stops with you. And how to recognize and escape modern forms of spiritual and technological targeting, from gang stalking to synthetic synchronicity. This isn't just about survival. It's about awakening, about reclaiming your voice, your lineage, and your destiny as one of the chosen ones. Click the link below to access the full series now, because the role ends the moment you decide it does, and the real script begins with you.